Ladies and gentlemen, if you look at the latest legal filing from Madam Secretary's campaign, Hillary for America, you can look at one of the top officials within that campaign, along with other officials, stating under oath, quote, "I did believe throughout the campaign that whatever work Law Firm 1, we'll just call them, performed, either through its own professionals or through any contractors it may have engaged to assist it, the work was done for the purpose of providing legal services and legal advice to Hillary for America." This is Robbie Mook. Others within the campaign have stated falsely the same things. They're obviously lying. Nobody in their right mind would believe that, we'll just call them Law Firm 1. It's public record, but just to be safe, we'll call them Law Firm 1. Law Firm 1 is within all the indictments as the law firm that Michael Sussman, the indicted attorney, worked for. They were the conduit or the middlemen or the intermediary between the Democratic Party, Madam Secretary's campaign in 2016, and purchasing the Steele dossier or spreading the Alpha Bank lies and nonsense. What Democrats do is they don't accept, like Bill Clinton doesn't say, "Oh, you can go ahead and put that $10 bill in my front pocket. Oh, that's real wonderful, thank you." They don't say. They have a foundation. They don't pocket the money themselves. They have a foundation, or they have Hunter and James. So Joe, President Mashed Potato Brains, doesn't, pocket the money himself. In the emails, in Hunter's laptop emails, he states, "I give half of my salary to Dad, or I give 10% of this deal to the big man." There's always a conduit. They're not purchasing a dossier that was compiled with help from Kremlin sources. And then, it's interesting, they're accusing Trump of being installed by that country, and they're working with people in that country to perpetuate the myth through a dossier, which was completely fabricated. Nothing in it was true. It was never used to indict anyone, and furthermore, it was complete nonsense. But BuzzFeed published it. It was never against social media algorithms. But, of course, Hunter's emails were against social media algorithms. Anything that is harmful to the Democratic Party is either a plot by another country to inform you of how corrupt they are, or it's just against social media algorithms because James Clapper and 650,000 former Intel officials say it's a plot by another country to inform you of how corrupt Democrats are. But John Durham is pitting now Michael Sussman against his previous employer, Law Firm 1. He's pitting the law firm against the United States government, and he's almost certainly going to indict more attorneys at that law firm. You cannot hide behind attorney-client privilege if you're committing crimes or if you're acting in a corrupt manner with an unethical or corrupt motive. You can't just simply say, well, this is attorney-client privilege. We were hired to purchase lies through dossiers or server stories that Trump had a private secret server, and we were hired to disseminate that information and influence government agencies to investigate Trump, and also influence media to run stories that weren't true. You can't do that. Hit subscribe, by the way, to this channel, ladies and gentlemen. Hit subscribe also. We're almost at 200,000 subs on this channel. Tell your friends about this channel. If you enjoy my work, word of mouth is the absolute best thing you could do if you enjoy this channel. Also, My Patreon is below. To my new Patreons, thank you. Your help is so important. Also, I have 2 other channels that I'm growing every single day. From here on out, I'll do at least 1, possibly more videos on the stock market crash channel. We are heading towards a devastating market crash, financial collapse, or similar to 2008, possibly worse. And I explain every single day. Hedge funds are going to have different margin requirements, more stringent. They won't be able to borrow as much, and they'll need more capital when they do borrow. And that's in September of this year. Things are changing around the world, and I talk about that. I talk about a whole lot of things, from inflation to the fact that we have $1 trillion in margin debt already in the stock market. But I talk about the derivatives nightmare with hedge funds, and read my article below in the pinned comment, predicting all of this. In the Federalist in October of 2021, I talked about all of this we're seeing today. We're heading into a recession as the Fed raises interest rates. Does that make sense to you, this whole scenario? Well, that's what happens when you end economic activity and expect, a Pandora's box of endless problems not to take place. But anyway, the adults in the room are always in charge. The experts, media, the Democratic Party, and they're just always leading to their policies. Their wonderful policies they're so proud of lead to catastrophe. So hit subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel below, and also please hit subscribe to the Indict and Imprison 45 channel. Pure comedy and satire, you will love it. So I do segments on those 2 every single day, in addition to this channel. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot hide behind attorney-client privilege if you're hiring a law firm to set up and frame your direct political rival. Now the Clinton campaign, or officials close to the Clinton campaign, or who worked for Madam Secretary, they are now saying under oath, signing their name, this is perjury. They're committing crimes, even stating these things, that they didn't know that Law Firm 1 was purchasing a Steele dossier, or that they didn't know that Law Firm 1 was spreading these lies and deceitful statements about Trump. See, they didn't have anything on Trump for 30 years. He was in public life for like 30 to 40 years, 35 years or so in public life. They had nothing on him. Literally, they had nothing on him. They had to make things up. All of this stuff, that's why the comedic channel, I have satirical channel, Indict and Imprison 45. When you watch that, I am like this morally superior liberal Democrat who thinks that Trump committed endless crimes. He didn't. They're suspicious of Trump because the suspicion was all fabricated. The same people who say that Donald Trump was installed by the Kremlin are the same people who would have embraced his rear end prior to 2015 and 2016. They watched The Apprentice. They saw his cameos in like Home Alone and other movies. He was in, his name was mentioned in songs. He was a celebrity, and people loved him throughout the country. All those wonderful liberal Democrats, highly educated, loved Donald Trump. When they realized he could take political influence and power from them, then he became the worst human being to ever live. That's how that political party works. They funnel outrage and indignation and suspicion against anyone they deem to be a political obstacle. What's taken place, however, is that with Bill and Hillary, that was about 30 years of scandal and controversy that almost always was because of some bizarre, like, Whitewater, and then, You had private servers with top secret intel. I mean, they're always up to some Clinton Foundation with Uranium One and money and donors. And Christopher Hitchens, one of my inspirations, when he was alive, always talked about the shady characters that the Clintons would always, work alongside to obtain funds and money and donations. That's 30 years since the 90s of obvious quid pro quo schemes. Okay? It was Christopher Hitchens, but it's been well documented. What Democrats and media were able to do is, in the span of 5 years, condense 30 plus years of suspicion and indignation and distrust against Trump. Now, Donald Trump, I love Trump. I'm going to vote for him again in 2024. If it's not him, I'll vote for DeSantis. And if it was in some alternate universe, Mitt Romney versus Tulsi Gabbard, I'd vote for Tulsi Gabbard. So I'm not bound by political party, but if you're opposed by the Lincoln Project, I'm voting for you. And Donald Trump is definitely opposes the Lincoln Project people. But you have to understand what they did. They had to find a way to paint Donald Trump as this menace. They didn't have a lot of time. And Clinton was the one who used servers with top secret intel. And by the way, I want a Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump 2024. I swear to God, I want that. I'm the only person on the planet who might want that, but I want Hillary Clinton. I want to see every Democrat vote for Madam Secretary Hillary Clinton again. Every far left person. I just want to see that. And they will. The interesting thing is, I don't want to get into this topic. When people say, we can't have Clinton run again, I mean, from the Democratic side or from the liberal side, they say, obviously Republicans will say this, but they say, you can't have her run it. Well, why not? Why not? She's far more popular than mashed potato brains, our president, within the Democratic Party. She's far more popular. Now, if you could say, that's still not very popular. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. She has more charisma. Anyone has more charisma than President Mashed Potato Brains. So I mean, the notion that, you had 30 years of scandals and controversies. She obviously committed felonies with removing top secret intelligence outside of the United States government onto servers. Comey and Strzok and McCabe, they all covered. You have to be a complete imbecile not to see what's taking place or what's taken place. Okay? Or a complete ideologue or somebody who just says you can't prove anything while at the same time accusing Trump of everything under the sun. But anyway, why wouldn't Democrats? In 2016... They don't even have a primary. The DNC fraud lawsuit stated, the attorney stated, they don't even have a primary. Bernie Sanders was cheated. This is, okay, do you understand? I'm the only person on the planet also who will say those words, Bernie Sanders was cheated. But why wouldn't, Clinton could easily become nominee. Why? She should run. But it should be Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump again. I can talk about this forever. You might say, what are you talking about? You're out of your mind. It's like, well, we're still living in 2016. Don't you understand? It's like this time warp. It's, we've actually, time stopped. Some kind of quantum physics, Star Trek. Time stopped in 2016, okay? Here's the thing. I don't even buy documentaries or, after 2015, 2016. I don't really watch that many movies anymore, books written after 2016, because everything is altered. You can't enjoy late night, even historical topics. They're all everything is after 2016. Democrats, what they did was, and I'm kind of venturing off, but this is important. If you've lasted this long, it is important. I was the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post. I was the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters, according to the Washington Post. Okay. Bernie Sanders in a fair primary would have defeated Clinton. it's not like I'm voting for Trump. I support President Trump or DeSantis or anyone who's opposed by the Lincoln Project or those types of people, Bill Kristol. But I'm trying to tell you, when they cheated Bernie Sanders and they conspired to set up and frame Trump, and this is important, ladies and gentlemen, if you lasted 15 minutes, it's very important, okay? That was the last time the Democratic Party ever really cared about quote-unquote policies. Okay, they don't care about policies. They jettisoned combating climate change in 2 seconds after the worst geopolitical nightmare in modern European history took place under the watch of President Mashed Potato Brains. He came in and said, oh yeah, decarbonize the economy. And then 2 seconds, strategic oil reserves, ethanol, all this. So they don't really run by value system. They run by media and hype and whatever the ideological paradigm is that changes every moment within on the left. Prior to 2016, that wasn't the case. President Obama, for example, had more in common with most Americans than our current president. Okay, or most Democratic politicians now. Same with Bill Clinton. But after 2016, when they cheated Bernie Sanders, what was taking place was the far left, or the whatever Bernie Sanders stood for at that moment, because 2016 he stood for something very different from 2020. It was a populist message that resonated with even conservatives in 2016. When he was cheated, Democrats drew a line in the sand stating, okay, we're not going to allow anyone within the Democratic Party or on the left to take influence or political power from us. We'll cheat them. So it's not about meritocracy or primaries or, this candidate happened to win because he had the hearts and souls of Democratic voters. It's, okay, we're going to cheat Bernie Sanders. We're telling the entire world that we're no longer focused on policies or, we're now going to focus on overtly cheating Bernie Sanders, but blaming Russia for letting you know that he's being cheated through these emails. Then you have the willing participants on the left who claim to fight the system, saying still vote blue no matter who. These are the useful, very useful people. It's a public relations monstrosity. They don't even have a primary. And this relates directly to the Durham probe special counsel. You have to just keep listening. They don't even have a functioning primary. And then they pontificate and opine on democracy. Okay? When they cheated Bernie Sanders, they told the universe that the old Democratic Party is over. We're now going to govern through media, through whatever ideology that, the left believes in. We'll pretend to be that. And at the end of the day, does infrastructure sound good? Oh, whatever. Infrastructure. Build back better. Nobody ever heard of it, but whatever. It's not Trump. While they cheated Bernie Sanders, they then accused Trump of being installed by another country. Accused anyone from Tulsi Gabbard to Trump to Bernie Sanders of being helped or influenced by another country. These are the true xenophobes. Not the Democratic Party of President Obama or Bill Clinton. Completely different entity. Completely different. Now you have a situation where the chickens are coming home to roost and, people are going to reap what they sow in terms of lying alongside government officials to set up and frame Trump and, deceive the country with this grandiose fantasy that the Kremlin interfered to let you know Bernie Sanders was cheated. And oh, by the way, we have to investigate Trump because Trump benefited from all of this. And he was asking another country for Clinton's deleted emails, but it's not actually the deleted emails that's not the problem at all. The fact that she deleted 20,000 plus emails without government oversight, that's not the problem at all. Don't you understand? Don't you understand? The problem is that another country wants you to know. So they're involved in all this myth-making. And you have tens of millions of Americans who believe these myths. But the myths and the lies and these grandiose fantasies and this conspiratorial nonsense is legitimized by media and government. Democrats have jettisoned God. Great many atheists within the Democratic Party, which is great, fine, no problem. I love Christopher Hitchens. However, if you replace God with social acceptance and political power, you have a big problem. Much greater problem than you did if you just, believed in a religion. And so, or just as problematic if you're saying, oh, you know what, you can use this ideology and dogma to judge others. And okay, so what's taken place, ladies and gentlemen, is the myth-making is now grinding to a halt. The Durham Probe Special Counsel is basically saying, okay, we'll give the government a break right now. Let's focus on the people who tried to, quote-unquote, deceive government officials who were, of course, in on it. You have Michael Sussman indicted. You have that law firm that was the conduit. You have the Hillary for America campaign. You have the Democratic Party. The Durham Probe Special Counsel is looking and saying, okay, who are the people involved in creating these myths, these lies, and these hoaxes pertaining to Trump? He's now looking at, Michael Sussman, the indicted attorney, stating, oh, well, he lied to James Baker. His law firm, that law firm purchased the Steele dossier, outsourced Fusion GPS, Glenn Simpson, Christopher Steele, all of these people. Okay, you can't do that. That's against the law. You can't just hire an attorney to have them commit crimes for you or unethical things for you or deceive government officials. Obviously, initially, there was no real deception. The government officials just wanted a pretext to investigate Trump. But what Durham is doing is pitting them against one another. The beauty of all of this is that eventually, each of these people, there's no honor among thieves. Each of these people are going to turn on one another. And eventually, you'll get to people, Comey might, almost will very likely circumvent legal problems because he has the goods on McCabe and he has the goods on the Clinton campaign. He has the goods on Strzok. He has the goods on that law firm. He has the goods on everybody, almost certainly, because he's so far up top that he pretends he doesn't know the Steele dossier was purchased by the Clinton campaign, but he also wrote the Comey letter because he knew what he was doing. He covered up for Clinton. It's this whole mess. But everyone below, and Comey could be in legal jeopardy also. He very likely is. Almost certainly Durham is looking to indict him and others. But you look at all of these people, Strzok, McCabe, Sussman, Kleinsmith, Danchenko, all of these people, it's obvious they conspired to create fantasies and myths against Trump. There was a special counsel, there's endless investigations, he has tax returns. Nothing points to him being installed by another country. Nothing. We now know that the Clinton campaign, which ties this back to 24 minutes ago, if you've lasted this long, God bless you. The Clinton campaign now is saying, we only hired the law firm for legal advice. That's, of course, a lie. Now, the law firm has to defend its legal advice, which, of course, is purchasing a dossier and setting up and framing Trump through elaborate schemes. And now he has all of this information stating, hey, we're going to use every trick we have to deceive people. These are the messages within the Sussman indictment. So, I mean, it's right there. It's like when Peter Strzok said, we'll stop Trump. It's like, are you kidding? You're on record as saying you're going to stop an incoming candidate. And still, media's like, well, there's nothing wrong with that. If the opposite, if the reverse were true, and you had an FBI official saying we'll stop Clinton or Biden, oh my God, it would be the end of the universe. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. If you've lasted this long, there's a method to the madness, people. You might think, I know there's going to be people saying, well, this makes no sense at all. It's 25 minutes. I'll never get back in my life. Like, well, you have to understand, I still live within 2016. The difference between me and most people is that I know we live in 2016 still. They don't. If you watch this channel, maybe you understand we're living in a matrix that is linked to 2016 at all times. That's why we need Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump 2024. Anyway, the Durham probe, John Durham is going to almost certainly indict numerous attorneys, at least one in particular, in addition to Sussman at that law firm. It'll be very interesting to see what takes place. Then the attorneys will turn on the Hillary campaign. It'll be very interesting. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now, and hit subscribe also to the Stock Market Crash channel below, and also the Indict and Imprison 45 channel. Let's grow those channels, ladies and gentlemen. Tell your friends about this channel, H.A. Goodman, on YouTube. We're almost at 200,000 subs, ladies and gentlemen. Once we reach 200,000 subs, it'll be a huge, huge live stream. And I just thank you for your support. Thank you. Have a great day.